Hello everyone and welcome to presentation of Syndicate 6 BLEMBA 31A. First of all, let me thank you all for coming here and watching our presentation video. Let me start by introducing our syndicate members. First is Hoirul Anam.
Hello.
And then Ralang Nugok.
Hello.
And then Kevin Jonathan.
Hello.
And then there is me, Arini Hasiana. And then the last one is Nur Noviani. As you can see on the screen, our topic today is scenario planning for Tokopedia. Now, this presentation is structured as follows. First is introduction, second is business issue exploration and solution, and the third is closing. Later, these three subjects will be broken down into several subjects. Now let's move on to the first chapter, the introduction, that consists of two subjects, company profile and research question. Tokopedia is an Indonesian technology company with a vision to create a super ecosystem where anyone can start and discover anything, and a mission to achieve economic equality digitally. In achieving its vision and mission, Tokopedia has values to foster. First, focus on consumer. Users are Tokopedia's top priority, and Tokopedia is always innovating to meet their needs. Second, growth mindset. Tokopedia dares to accept challenges and sees problems as opportunities to start new things. Third, make it happen, make it better. Tokopedia builds teams by leveraging capabilities and continuously improve overall performance. Now I'd like to discuss about the business line. Tokopedia has three business lines. First one is e-commerce. The second one is logistics and fulfillment. And the third one is advertising and marketing technology. The details can be seen on your screen. Now we'll focus on research question. Tokopedia is eager to encourage the acceleration of the digitalization of MSMEs in helping the Indonesian company. That is why Tokopedia needs to have a better understanding of Indonesia's future e-commerce industry so that Tokopedia can increase the transaction done in its platform. Continuing that, the research question for this topic are: what can be the future of e-commerce industry in Indonesia? And what strategies might Tokopedia adopt to grow its e-commerce industry? So now we come to the next part, which is the second chapter, business issue exploration and solution, that consists of 10 subjects. Following the research question mentioned previously, the key focal issue for this research is what can be the outlook of the e-commerce industry in Indonesia in 2035, considering different types of users. Let's move to the next part, which will be presented by Hoirul Anam.
We use spatial analysis to identify various external factors that may present opportunities or risks for the company in 2035. According to the acronym, PESTEL is divided into 6 sections. The first, politics. Until 2035, we will face at least 3 elections. Domestic political stability will determine the future business climate, whether it can still provide optimism for the community in running their business or vice versa. In addition, the government must have the political will and commitment necessary to secure cross-border transactions and ensure equal access to broadband. Through securing cross-border transactions and equitable broadband access throughout Indonesia as an effort to protect the domestic market and encourage a bigger market. The second aspect is economic. Interest rate, exchange rate, and economic growth are external factors that drive growth and maintain the business climate in this industry. If the economic climate is maintained properly, there is room for wage of worker increasement every year and boost people purchasing power. Lastly, open competition can occur in the e-commerce industry. Competitors can emerge through the new one with larger capital or come from the existing player who can compete in providing products or services that are more diverse, safer, or more comfortable. The third is social aspect. Technology has disrupted society way of life, resulting in variety of trends, changes in behavior to become entirely online, and support for MSME empowerment in society. Tokopedia will be impacted by this in the future. To create a safe and comfortable environment require the good customer knowledge, so the changes must be coupled with the people digital literacy. The fourth is technology. E-commerce rely on the technology to run their business. In supporting their business in the future, Tokopedia needs to consider the new technology acquisition, with the replace all the technology with new one, EA and machine learning adoption, blockchain, and capacity expansion. Implementing high-level security in effort to protect financial transaction, consumer data, and system integration, as well as big data usage for targeted advertising and product improvement. This will be noted that there are many technologies developed, but must be still efficient without compromising user experience. Next, ecology and environmental aspect. To run a business sustainability, business must be aware of today's global issue, including low carbon control and climate change. Through low carbon issue, company can gain support for low carbon lifestyle and gain popularity. In addition, company must be aware of climate change, where this situation can have the impact on the natural disaster and create the other pandemic. It will change the business or even the life landscape. The last law aspect. Company must also maintain the compliance with the applicable regulation. There are several regulations that have a direct impact on business operation, such as tax policy, copyright and patent on goods sold by Tokopedia, protection and customer data related to the application of personal data protection regulation, and last, the possibility chance of government regulation concerning trading through the electronic system. Based on pastel analysis result, we define 10 driving forces. Start from the political stability, economic climate, income level, competitive rivalry, online habit shifting, new technology acquisition, cybersecurity, efficient system, tax policy, and technical regulation. The 10 driving forces are considered more influential than other factors in determining future trend. For the next part, will be explained by Mas Sawang.
Okay, I will continue to explain the causal loop diagram. This diagram is showing the relationship between each driving force and also driving force to the e-commerce itself. Some driving forces are related directly to e-commerce, either with positive relation or negative relation. Positive relation means that the increasing of driving force will also increase the e-commerce. For example, economic climate, income level, online habits, efficient system, and technical regulation. Other driving force also directly impacting e-commerce with negative effect, such as competition rivalry. Because by the increasing of competition rivalry, it could reduce the market share of a single e-commerce. The driving force also could impact e-commerce indirectly. For example, tax policy and political stability, which have a relationship with economic climate. Also, new technology and cybersecurity, which related positively to the competitive rivalry. From this CLD, can be seen that e-commerce is impacted directly by most of the driving force. Some driving force also have more relationship compared to others, such as economic climate and competitive rivalry, which give more relationship with other driving force. Next, this table is showing how is the degree of uncertainty and degree of importance from each driving force. Degree of importance indicates the impact of driving force to e-commerce. Each driving force is selected from pastel analysis, which gives significant contribution. So there is no driving force plotted in the low degree of importance. While the degree of uncertainty indicating how dynamic the driving force and how easy the trend to change to another direction. The driving force with high degree of uncertainty are political stability, income level, economic climate, and competition rivalry. They are in the high degree of uncertainty because it is very difficult to predict and nobody is sure about this driving force condition in the future. One of the driving force with low degree of uncertainty is technical regulation, because the regulation about e-commerce should continuously create a better and safer ecosystem. This regulation also will give medium impact to the e-commerce. Other driving force which have low degree of uncertainty are new technology, cybersecurity, and efficient system. All of the three driving force is related with technology aspect and will give high importance to e-commerce, because the development of e-commerce is highly dependent to the growth of technology. From the table, the chosen critical uncertainties are economic climate and competitive rivalry, because they has the high degree of importance and also high degree of uncertainties. And the next for the scenario framework will be explained by my friend. Please go ahead, Mbak Siti Nur Noviani.
Okay, after determining the most critical uncertainties, we use it to frame the scenario framework and create narratives for each scenario. So we insert the competitive rivalry from the high competition to low competition, and economic climate from good condition to bad condition into the matrix, and we have 4 scenarios in this matrix. The first scenario is when the economic climate is in good condition and e-commerce industry have a high competition. We call this as battle to win, where the players in e-commerce industry set up an aggressive strategy and build innovation to win in a supportive economic condition. The second scenario is survival mode, that is when the economy is in a bad condition but the competition is still high. In these dark ages of economy, competitors still have ammunition to fight. Next is scenario fighter. It is when the economic is bad and the e-commerce players also thriving create a condition where no aggressive competitors' activity. And the last scenario happened when the economic climate is supporting the industry but the competition is low. We call it as on power. Now we're going to get the elements of each scenario. In the battle to win scenario, the people power purchase is high, and since the economy is in good shape, the international competitors are coming in. And since the competition is high, players are regularly create innovations and try to win the market share, including putting unreasonable promotions. In the scenario 2, survival mode, because of that economic condition, people's spend is really low. However, in this case, competition in e-commerce industry is still high. So there is still a threat of new foreign competitors, not to mention the innovation and promotion that other players create. Scenario 3 describes a struggling condition of economy of Indonesia, causing people power purchase still low. Because of this, many players left the e-commerce industry, so not many competitors and they are dying out and no innovation nor promotion happening. In the scenario 4, there are strong development of economy and the harmonization of world trade. In this scenario, the competitors are limited with huge potential market. So e-commerce is in an oligopoly market with high growth rates. Next is the scenario narratives. The first scenario is supported by the fact that Indonesia is currently doing the digital transformation. Indonesia economy is expected to grow with high rates in 2035, and the investment is growing because of the success from digital transformation. It makes people have a high purchase power. At the same time, players in e-commerce wants to win the market share with huge ammunition by applying aggressive strategies. In the second scenario, the economic condition is getting worse due to continued financial crisis for years. It pushed companies to cut operations. However, competitors still get huge investments from the investors who support them to win. The industry creates a difficult situation for Tokopedia. Next scenario is also when financial crisis happening for years. Thus, the financial indicators of Indonesia shows a bad condition. So people only purchase on essential things because of skyrocketed price. This condition makes Indonesia has a lack of investment, which creates a difficult situation for players in the e-commerce industry to survive. It causes no innovation and big strategy from them. The price deviation among the players is also not high. In the last scenario, the economic growth of Indonesia reaches unprecedented numbers, causing people personal income growth significantly, so people spend more money in e-commerce. But the players only apply moderate strategy, and new players are difficult to enter the market that possibly cause of regulation. Let's move to the next part, which will be presented by Kevin Jonathan.
Now we will identify the early warning signals in each critical uncertainties. In economic factor, there are several indicators as an early warning system, which are growth of Indonesia GDP, growth of global economy, inflation rate of Indonesia, Indonesia unemployment rate, purchasing managers index, and consumer confidence index. Growth of Indonesia GDP will be published by BPS. The scenario 1, battle to win, or scenario 4, on power, is likely to happen if the growth of GDP Indonesia is higher than average of GDP growth in the last 3 years. While scenario 2, survival mode, and the scenario 3, fighter, is likely to happen if the GDP Indonesia is lower than average of GDP growth in the last 3 years. And then growth of global economy will be published by International Monetary Fund. The scenario 1 and 4 is likely to happen if the growth of global economy is higher than average of global GDP in the last 3 years. Vice versa for the scenario 2 and scenario 3. And then we see the inflation rate and Indonesia unemployment rate that is published by BPS. High inflation rate can be sign of the lower consumption in the near future. So scenario 2 or 3 is likely to happen if the inflation rate is go higher than average of inflation rate in the last 3 years. Vice versa for scenario 1 and 4. Higher Indonesia unemployment rate can be sign of the low economic demand. If Indonesia unemployment rate is lower than 7%, scenario 1 or scenario 4 has a strong possibility to happen. Vice versa for scenario 2 and 3. And then Purchasing Manager Index and Consumer Confidence Index are published by Bank Indonesia. If Purchasing Manager Index is higher than 50 and Consumer Confidence Index is higher than 100, scenario 1 or 4 is likely to happen. For competition factor, there are 4 main indicators, which are number of e-commerce in Indonesia, growth of economy in Indonesia, number of e-commerce customer, and the price stability in e-commerce. Most of this data can be acquired by having an internal research. The growth of economy digital in Indonesia will be published by Minister of Economy in Indonesia. When number of e-commerce in Indonesia show uptrend, it means competition will become tight. So the scenario 1, battle to win, or the scenario 2, survival mode, is likely to happen. Vice versa for scenario 3 and 4. An indicator growth of economy digital of Indonesia, if it is higher than average of the last 3 years, scenario 1 or 2 is likely to happen. If number of e-commerce customers show uptrend, scenario 1 or scenario 2 is likely to happen. Vice versa for scenario 3 or 4. And last indicator is the price stability in e-commerce. If the price of stability show uptrend, the scenario 3 or scenario 4 is likely to happen. Vice versa for scenario 1 and 2. And then we move on to the implication and option of each scenario. The first we will talk about the scenario 1, battle to win. The first implication, many rivals in e-commerce market that want to win the market share by giving unreasonable promotion that lead to the high customer acquisition cost and burn money in the e-commerce industry. And the second is many customers are easy to move to other e-commerce that give many promotion. So there are many non-loyal customers. So the option to obstacle this implication is first, always monitor the competitor's promotion strategy for adjusting in Tokopedia's promotion. The second is do high promotion during the high demand season. And then the next implication is many innovation come through because of the competition. And the option is first, increase the innovation within Tokopedia by always learning the change of customer behavior and customer needs. And also we have to monitor the innovation of competitor and use or modify the innovation. The next implication is high R&D costs in e-commerce industry. And what we have to do is focus on the most important R&D activity that can give effect to the customer. The next implication is foreign competitors will enter Indonesia market because of high economic growth. And then the option is focus on Tokopedia's strength as the original Indonesia company, such as offering Indonesia product. The next implication is due to high demand, many venture capitals want to invest in the new e-commerce startup. And we have to use this implication, this condition, by having an option find new investment to strengthen the company's capital for customer acquisition costs. And the last implication in this scenario is buying decision of customer depend on the promotion and the product. Most of customer not just buy what they need, but also what they want. So we have to take advantage of this condition by grab new customer, by offering a new product and also having an attractive service to the customer. And now we go to the implication and option of the scenario 2, survival mode. The first implication is people and industry become more careful in consumption and investment activity. And also the demand of e-commerce service will be low due to the slow economic activity. So what we have to do, what option that we have is offer the unique daily basis product to customer by cooperating with some MSME. And then the next implication is with high competition, e-commerce companies still spend high budget for promotion or R&D that lead to the burn money condition. And also customers are selective in buying products and try to find e-commerce that give highest promotion because of the low economic condition. So the option that we have is first, selective in giving promotion to the customer by analyzing the economic condition and customer behavior. And the second, high income customer with lower buying activity will get lower promotion. So this is the strategy that we can do. And then the next implication is high cost in promotion, but with lower revenue growth because of the low demand. And also e-commerce that has high capital will survive. Some of e-commerce companies can go bankrupt or do layoff because of the slow of demand because of the economy. So the option that we can do is first do tight monitoring of promotion costs and cash flow. And the second is do the operation efficiency across all division and or department. And the last option that we can do is reduce the debt that can burden all company activity. Now we go on to the next scenario, scenario 3, fighter. The first implication is the demand of e-commerce service will be low due to the low economic activity. And the second is the competition in e-commerce is also low. And the option that we have is focus on existing customer, keep the high retention of the existing customer. The next implication is due to the low competition, the e-commerce company just give few promotion to the customers. The option is reduce the expense of promotion, use that budget to increase the service and focus on generate healthy cash flow. The next implication is customer will choose the e-commerce based on the service and product, not the promotion. So we can focus on giving good service to customer, not the promotion, that result in good customer experience and focus on selling niche product. The next implication is low competition resulting in low innovation in e-commerce industry. So Tokopedia can grab more customers by consistently doing the innovation when the competitors don't do it. And the last implication is customers mostly just buy what they need rather than what they want. The option that Tokopedia can do is focus on developing the selling of daily basis need product by cooperating with some SME. Okay, we go on to the last scenario, on power scenario. The first implication is the high demand of product or service in this condition will evac to the high demand of e-commerce product and service. So the option that Tokopedia can take is focus on acquiring new customer by offering the niche product and good experience of service. And the next implication is the low promotion cost of e-commerce company resulting in focus to improving service and product. And also, e-commerce company in this condition can generate positive profit. So the option that Tokopedia can take is Tokopedia can increase R&D budget because of positive net profit and because of the lower promotion and lower marketing costs. The next implication is customer focus on service and product, not the promotion. And the option that Tokopedia can take is over the unique product and unique services to customer. And also, Tokopedia can change the marketing budget to the R&D budget. The next implication is the price of product will be more stable in this condition. And Tokopedia can cooperate with more merchants in the e-commerce and increase the diversity of the product. And the next implication also is customer retention and loyalty are very high in this condition. The Tokopedia have an option to strengthen the brand engagement of Tokopedia as well as the community of Tokopedia in this condition. And the last implication that also very important is the investor will focus to find healthy e-commerce company. And the option that Tokopedia can do is achieve the positive net profit and healthy cash flow to attract the investor to strengthen the capital of Tokopedia. And next, we will go on to the conclusion that will be delivered by Arini Hasian.
Now we've come to the last chapter. To close this presentation, we will explain about the conclusion and implementation plans. There are 4 points we can take from this study. The first is the key focal issue that has been identified is what can be the outlook of the e-commerce industry in Indonesia in 2035, considering different types of futures. There are 10 driving forces that have been identified with details that can be seen on the screen. The second is the driving forces with the highest level of uncertainty and impact towards the key focal issues are competitive rivalry and economic climate. The third is, based on the critical uncertainties that have been identified before, there are 4 scenarios for the next 13 years. The first scenario is battle to win. The second one is survival mode. The third one is fighter. And the fourth scenario is unpowered. The last point is about early warning signals. There are several early warning signals based on the 2 highest driving forces. There are 6 early warning signals identified for growth of economy and 5 early warning signals identified for competition. Details can be seen on the screen. To conclude the presentation today, we'd like to suggest some recommendations. The first one is to maximize customer lifetime value in order to retain the customers. The second one is to focus in R&D during favorable economic climate as a preventive control, because when the economic climate is hostile, customer will choose e-commerce that has better user experience. And the last one is to expand the market by entering the market in Philippines during Scenario 1, Scenario 2, and Scenario 3, or by focusing and leveraging domestic market during Scenario 4. And that brings us to the end of the presentation. That's all from Syndicate 6 of BLEMBA 21A. We'd like to thank you for your time and attention today.